There is a kind of pain that doesn't come from strangers. It comes from someone who knew your favorite song, your middle name, how you like your coffee, and exactly how to make you laugh when you were trying not to. That kind of rejection doesn't just bruise your ego, it shakes your identity. Because when someone you loved chooses a life without you, it doesn't just feel like they rejected the relationship. It feels like they rejected you. And that's the part no one really prepares you for. They tell you breakups are hard. They tell you divorce is painful. They tell you betrayal hurts. But they don't tell you about the quiet questions that follow you into the grocery store, into the shower, into the middle of the night when you wake up and forget for 5 seconds that the life you had is gone. They don't tell you about the way rejection makes you question your worth, your attractiveness, your intelligence, your timing, your decisions, your everything. Rejection has a way of making you feel like you were almost something, almost chosen, almost loved the way you needed, almost the life you thought you were building. But here's the truth that takes most people years to understand, and once you understand it, your entire life will change. Rejection is not just rejection. Rejection is direction. It is redirection. It is life moving you away from something that is not meant to hold you and moving you towards something that can. But the problem is, redirection never feels good when it's happening. It feels like loss. It feels like humiliation. It feels like confusion. It feels like your plans got ripped up in front of you. Because you had a vision. You had a plan. You had a person you thought was your person. And when that plan falls apart, it feels like your life is falling apart. But what if it's not falling apart? What if it's falling into place, just not the place you expected? Most women don't realize how many times rejection has actually saved them. Saved them from a marriage where they would have been lonely. Saved them from a man who only loved them in pieces. Saved them from a life where they would have had to shrink to be tolerated. Saved them from constantly proving their worth to someone who had already decided not to see it. Sometimes rejection is protection in disguise. Think about it. How many times have you looked back at something you cried over? A job you didn't get, a relationship that ended, a friendship that faded, an opportunity that didn't work out. And later realized, if that had worked out, I wouldn't be where I am now. That's proof. That's the proof we always miss because we are so focused on what we lost that we don't realize what we avoided. Rejection has a way of removing what you would have settled for. Not what you deserved, what you would have settled for. And that's a hard truth. Because many of us don't get rejected from what's best for us. We get rejected from what we were willing to settle for, because we didn't yet know how much we were worth. So when the rejection happens, it feels like the worst thing in the world. But in reality, it might be the first time life stood up on your behalf and said, no, not this. Not for her. She doesn't see it yet, but this is not where she belongs. Some rejection is God removing you from tables where you were about to beg for a seat. Some rejection is life breaking your heart to save your soul. Some rejection is the universe forcing a door closed because you didn't have the strength to walk away yourself. And here's the part that becomes proof later. The things meant for you will not require you to convince someone to choose you. The things meant for you will not require you to betray yourself to keep them. The things meant for you will not feel like a constant audition where you are performing for love instead of receiving it. Rejection redirects you to places where you are valued, not tolerated. Loved, not managed. Chosen, not almost chosen. But you don't see that at first. At first you cry. At first you question everything. At first you replay conversations in your head and wonder what you could have said differently, done differently, been differently. At first, you think the rejection was a statement about your value. It wasn't. It was a statement about alignment. Not everyone is meant to go where you are going. Not everyone is meant to grow the way you are growing. Not everyone is meant to love you the way you need to be loved. And when someone cannot meet you where you are, or where you are going, rejection becomes the mechanism that separates your paths. It doesn't mean you're not lovable. It means they were not capable. And those are two very different things. There is a version of your life that exists that you cannot reach if certain people stay in it. There is a version of you, peaceful, confident, healed, secure, laughing again, sleeping well, not checking your phone with anxiety, not wondering where you stand with someone. There is a version of you that cannot exist if certain doors don't close. So sometimes rejection is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your real story. And the proof comes later. The proof comes when you wake up one day and realize you don't cry anymore. The proof comes when you laugh again. A real laugh. The kind that comes from your stomach and surprises you because you forgot you could still feel joy like that. The proof comes when you meet people who treat you well, and you realize you were accepting crumbs because you had never seen a full table before. The proof comes when you outgrow the version of you that once begged someone to stay. And one day, you will look back at the rejection that almost broke you and you will say, "Thank God that didn't work out." Not because it didn't hurt, not because you didn't love them, not because you didn't try, but because you will finally see what it was redirecting you toward: yourself. Rejection has a way of introducing you to yourself, your strength, your resilience, your boundaries, your voice, your independence, your ability to survive what you thought you couldn't survive. The woman you become after rejection is not the same woman who was rejected. She's wiser, she's calmer, she's harder to manipulate, she's slower to ignore red flags. She's no longer impressed by potential, she pays attention to patterns. She doesn't fall in love with words, she watches actions. She doesn't beg for love, she recognizes it or she walks away. That woman is proof that rejection was redirection. Because rejection didn't just change your relationship status, it changed you. And sometimes that was the whole point, because the goal was never just to lose them. The goal was to find you, to find your standards, to find your boundaries, to find your peace, to find your life outside of someone else, to find out that you can pay your own bills, make your own decisions, travel where you want, eat where you want, decorate your house how you want, spend your Sunday how you want, and build a life that is not dependent on someone choosing you, but on you choosing yourself. That's the redirection. It redirects your love back to the one person who will be in your life from your first breath to your last, you. And once you learn to choose yourself, the right people don't reject you. They recognize you. So if you are in a season where you feel rejected, abandoned, left, replaced, overlooked, or forgotten, I need you to understand something. This is not your final destination. This is a turning point. This is a redirection point. This is the part of the story where everything looks like it's falling apart, but it's actually falling into place in a way you cannot see yet. One day, the proof will be your peace. The proof will be your confidence. The proof will be the life you built after the rejection. The proof will be the way you no longer chase people who don't choose you. The proof will be the way you sleep at night without anxiety. The proof will be the way you no longer feel the need to prove your worth to anyone. The proof will be the way you say no without guilt. The proof will be the way you say yes to your life. And the biggest proof of all will be this: you will meet a version of yourself that you would have never met if that rejection didn't happen. So maybe rejection isn't punishment. Maybe it's preparation. Maybe it's not telling you that you're not enough. Maybe it's telling you that you're meant for more. And one day, you won't just believe that rejection is redirection. You'll have the proof. If this message found you at the right time, I want you to remember this: rejection did not end your story. It redirected it. And one day, you will see the proof in who you became, what you survived, and the peace you found when you finally chose yourself. If you're healing, if you're rebuilding, if you're learning how to choose yourself after heartbreak, you're not alone here. This channel is a place for women who are becoming stronger, wiser, and more at peace after everything they've been through. So subscribe, join this community, and let's keep growing, healing, and becoming the women we were always meant to be. And if this spoke to your heart, share it with a woman who needs to hear this today. You never know who is quietly trying to heal. Thanks for watching.